the Sidelines.
Glad to have you join us on yet another exciting week on From the Sidelines, your number one radio show. I'm Sto, your super duper host, and this week I definitely do assure you that you have a truckload of exciting packages that await you in the form of Week Speak, in the form of paramedicals, in the form of sideline newsreel, sideline personality, and take it home. You don't want to miss this. Stay with me as we go on this timeout. I'll be back very shortly.
Hey, do you know that From the Sidelines could connect with you in real time and online? Listen to our weekly shows on this station, same time every week. If you miss them, not to worry. Visit www.thesidelinerail.com and check out our gallery page where you could download our programs within the snap of your fingers right away. You could also improve your connection with us online by joining our Facebook community on From the Sidelines Radio. I repeat, From the Sidelines Radio. Our Twitter community with our Twitter handle at From the Sidelines. That's FRMB Sidelines. FRMB Sidelines. Or checking out our exciting write-ups and articles on our blog, www.sidelinenotes.blogspot.com. From the Sidelines. Sit, relax, and listen. Week Speak.
Our Week Speak for this week, evidently, is Sir Alex Ferguson's retirement from Old Trafford. After 27 years, we go over to our timelines to load tweets from you to hear what you have been saying. Our first is Lavinia and Sati at Lavsathi Perry from Ethiopia. That's Lavinia and Sati at Lavsathi Perry from Ethiopia. He says this is what we all can do. Respect. Sir Alex Ferguson's quote during his retirement speech. He's evidently quoting what Sir Alex Ferguson said during his farewell speech to over 76,000 fans seated at Old Trafford. Our second is Tracy, that's at GPCV Services from Ghana. She says, "Did you miss this?" So Alex Ferguson announces retirement. The manager's CV that will never be. Talking about how it's very difficult to find a CV like Sir Alex Ferguson's in the game of football and out of the game of football generally. A third is C. Almeida, that's Almeida from Nigeria. He says Jose Mourinho says he knew months ago of Sir Alex Ferguson's retirement plans but was always intent on it at Chelsea FC. The next is Amitai Winehouse, that's at Winehouse1 from South Africa. She says, "I can guarantee that I get Sir Alex Ferguson out of retirement and bring him into Newcastle." Kenya Tales with a hashtag. The next is Pisa 2000, that's at We Are Pisa 2000 from Zambia. The retirement of Sir Alex has naturally been bad news for anyone associated with Manchester United. I couldn't agree with you less, Pisa. Rooney the Best is the next. That's at Chitaritas Tree from Uganda. It's a retweet at Chaska Borek. He says Sir Alex Ferguson has been in charge of United since I was 1 year old. This is Wayne Rooney who is talking. He's quoting Rooney, who said that Sir Alex Ferguson has been manager of United since he was a boy. The next is Mikey, that's at Mikey MUFC from Nigeria. He says Sir Alex Ferguson last day's speech. "Your job now is to stand by our new manager. That is very important. Fans, let's do it." This is another quote from his farewell speech to 76,000 supporters and fans at the Theatre of Dreams at Old Trafford. LL, that's at Kefre LL from Nigeria. It's the next tweet. He replies at Sheikh of Efizi. He says, "Old quote of Sir Alex Ferguson. Give me Zidane, 10 pieces of wood, and I will win the Champions League." The next and the final is Barnes Star, who is at Super Takes 11 from Sierra Leone. He says, "Old is gold. You don't get to see Alex and his ilk regularly in football. Tribute to such a great." Remember, you can join these conversations on Twitter. That's at FRM the Sidelines or FRM the Sidelines with a hashtag. You also could send in your discussions and let us know your thoughts on our Facebook page, which is From the Sidelines Radio. Endeavor always, to put your full name, your location, so that we can tell you what exactly you have been saying and tell others what you have also been saying. It's an opportunity for everyone to connect with each other. It's Week Speak. You get on our social media platforms and tell us exactly what you say say or what you feel in response to a few topics that will be put out for you to air your views. Without much ado, I'll hand over now to the expert man who will speak a little more in detail about this event and its psychological standpoint.
Paramedical.
Alex Ferguson, a man that has served in an establishment for over 27 years, was nothing less than a mentor and parent to all of whom were under his tutelage. When the news of his retirement first broke out, he was quite reticent. He didn't want to talk about the reason for his retirement, but preferring rather to inform, everyone, but enlighten a few about his retirement plans. Having someone around, I will be talking a little about the psychological effect of this move of leaving and departing, because we must have experienced one or two people who we may have spent very long periods of time with, and they suddenly say they're going. Having someone around this long and seeing them leave suddenly can be quite distressing, especially for individuals who have shared special emotional bonds with them. The crux of my discussion this afternoon will be dealing with separation. Consider a marriage that has been in existence for over 2 decades. Consider also the impact the separation will cause in the heart of the abandoned spouse, especially when the likelihood of separation was never apparent. So in a marriage for over 20 years, think of any of the spouses within the marriage, departing the other without any foreknowledge, without any notice at all. That just happens. Think about the effect. Depending on the personalities involved, the deserted spouse's response could range from extreme quietness and withdrawal to severe anxiety that may cause them to be mentally unstable and violent sometimes. Sometimes this could even lead to the development of suicidal instinct. And I'm sure you're wondering, this is only football. Why all this drama? Well, yes, it is only football. But remember, the same sport has been the cause of many grown men crying like children on the football field, and the few excited men, run around with pants, attend interviews and even grant audience to people to speak to them because of the excitement. I'm giving you a spectrum of what the psychological effect of football can be and how profound it can be in the minds of men. A deserted spouse is left alone, and then you are left between two options, which are generally left and right. On the left side of it, you can have a quiet spouse who is withdrawing, retreats, and doesn't want to talk to anybody. And on the other hand, you can have somebody who is going almost crazy because the person who they have been around with for a pretty long time is leaving. So that's one end, and another end. Psychologists and counselors have identified phases of handling the grief that come with relationship breakups, be they romantic or unromantic. Examples being fiance, husband and wife, mentor and protege, boss and assistant. This is important because when we are left, we have all gone through periods like this in our lives, but when we are left or abandoned by someone, told by someone who we have spent a lot of time with that they are going, they are leaving, and we may never get to see them again, we begin to grieve. And psychologists and counselors have generally classified 3 phases that we will fall into when the news of this kind of thing gets broken to us. And over the next course of the few minutes, or over the next few minutes, I will course over this, over these 3 phases. The first is shock and disbelief. This is the initial stage. Here, the news of the breakup is just heard, and honestly, people in this phase want to believe that whatever it is they are hearing is a lie. So there's a very strong urge to dispute such a claim and not believe whatever the person is saying. And so someone says, "Oh, I'm leaving, I'm not going to come back again." Your mind, all you want to do is keep saying that had better be a lie. It's going to be a lie. I can't bring myself to understand that. I can't bring myself to believe it. So it had to be a lie. It has to be a lie. That accounts for the disbelief part. For the shock part, considering the nature of the person receiving the news of the separation, the reaction can range from faint and heart attacks to madness. And believe me, yes, madness. So you have somebody put their hands on their head and you're like, I can't believe this, I can't believe this. And you see them crying and they're all melodramatic. You don't want to go, why would you go, why would you leave me this? That's on the one hand. You get to see this reaction. On the other hand, someone says, I'm leaving, and the next thing this person who is receiving the news just faints or has a heart attack and is like, because he can't bring himself to understand, or he can't even bring himself to believe what exactly is being told to him or her. And on the other hand, some people run outrightly mad, and believe me, yes, they actually run mad. You need to understand as human beings the power power of human beings lie in our social connections. That's something any other animal here on earth cannot afford to forge. We have strong social connections and very, very high emotional energy. So, some of these things just erupt into, some unwanted reactions. Say, for example, the madness I'm talking about. Somebody says, oh, I'm leaving and you may never see me again. And the person just tears his clothes or her clothes and she starts doing some very crazy things. This is madness, and that is evidently a manifestation of shock, which is a reaction that people tend to get when they receive the news of people departing them or people abandoning them. How this phase is going to be managed will determine how well the other phases to follow will turn out. That's the remaining two phases. So how well the individual handles, how well you handle shock and disbelief upon hearing such a news will determine how well you handle the next two phases that I will describe in a moment. We all must have gone through stages like this at one point in time or the other in our lives, so I assume that you understand properly what exactly I'm trying to say. For example, if a senior man in an organization decides that he's leaving after 20 years of service, the bosses of that place come and meet him. Especially if it's unannounced and it's unexpected, the bosses will come and meet him and ask him, okay, please, why are you leaving? This and that, and then try to get to talk to them for explaining the reason for why he's leaving. And if he's forthcoming with the reason or an answer, what they do is, depending on how much they value him, what they will try to do is offer him additional benefits just so that they can make him stay. What they are trying to do now is to, they can't believe and they can't bring themselves to believe that this man is going to leave. So what they are trying to do now is settle him so that he does not even leave. And so, it's the disbelief, that's the part of themselves that do not want to relate to the news or that do not want to believe the news. So because of this, out of reflex, what they do is, okay, I will give you more money, I'll increase your salary, I'll do a few things, give you additional benefits just so that you can stay. It's a part of the heart that doesn't want to let the senior man go, and in a bid to compensate for that, they offer him that. The unwillingness to let go describes the disbelief associated with separating with someone perfectly. The second phase is review and painful relinquishment. But let me say that, do you notice that it is when people say they are leaving that we begin to remember all the good things or probably all the bad things that they have done? That's the review part of this phase. I call the review and painful relinquishment. Review is the first stage of this phase, then painful relinquishment is another. If recovery from the shock and disbelief phase is not complete, this phase can be very painful because your heart begins to prolong and you begin to exaggerate the conditions and you're like, all this while, look at how far we have come and this person is finally going to leave me. Review would involve memories and remembrance of them, which may further open up emotional wounds. Painful relinquishment, on the other hand, is when the grieving person lets go of the departing person very reluctantly. So you're like, no problem, Sha, I'll just let the person go. There's nothing I can do, I'll just let her go. But you're reluctant and you don't want to. You're unwilling to do it, but you have to just do it. So unwillingly, you will just let the person go. And no matter how painful, I personally advise that you start learning how to release such people, even if it is painful at first. It's important. This is your mental health, and it's probably the most vital part of your health system. The third, which is the last phase, is made up of 3 stages. The first is reorganization, second integration, and the last is acceptance. So this third phase of reorganization, integration, and acceptance, you cannot keep crying forever. That's the truth of it. You're a human being, you can't keep crying forever. At some point in time, the grieving person will get tired of tears and hurt and start living life again. This phase can be quite easy to deal with if reminders or attachments to the departing person are weak. Beware, reminders and attachments could be mutual friends or casual observers who may knowingly or unknowingly try to remind us of such relationships. This is particularly important because when somebody we know is departing or leaving us, there are friends we know that also know such people, and sometimes we might just talk about these people in our discussions with them, knowingly sometimes, and sometimes unknowingly. They may not even know, but they might just refer to them, and because you have not completely let them go in your heart, you begin to feel that unrest and you think about them and you're unhappy, then you slip into depression. All of these things. The best reaction is never to deny what some of these mutual friends say, but to gradually, and I repeat, gradually ease them out. So when you get to say them, you just hear them in one ear. Let me, if you gets you depressed, that's the consequence. But you allow it die down slowly and slowly. If it's too much for you to handle, it might be very necessary for you to stay away from that mutual friend, just so that you can get over the depression completely and let go of it completely, and then you are free from every hurt and an emotional pain. This takes care of memories and sometimes the people who you don't want talking about it. Integration will refer to going back to those things you used to do that you stopped because you were grieving over the departure of these people. For example, if I stopped going to meetings because I was grieving, integration starts the day I start going for those meetings again. That's the second phase, reorganization. You're trying to get things back together. Integration, I'm trying to do those things I used to do before that I stopped doing because this person left. Then acceptance, which is the last stage of the final phase. And this is probably the most powerful. Acceptance is just what it is. Accepting they are gone and they may never come back. So what you are doing is accepting reality as taking what life is giving you and deciding to move on completely, because that is what exactly acceptance is, moving on. This ends the phases and is probably the most powerful. This will determine how we will start relating to the outside world again. If the memories are clear and still hot, that will describe the review phase and not the acceptance one. So if you're still thinking about these people, still thinking about what they have done, what they have not done, believe me, you're not in the acceptance phase. You're still in the review phase and painful relinquishment. So you haven't recovered. You're still in phase 2. You have not recovered. This phase that I'm talking about, at the time you get here, you must have let go of every single chain holding you back or any hurt holding you back. I cannot prescribe a remedy for handling separations, as this depends largely on your personality. I only share the grieving phases that may help you know where you are and determine your progress as well as your recovery. On the other hand, if you are the departing person, if you are the person who is leaving, the things I shared with you can help you understand what to expect from the people you are leaving behind and how you can possibly manage them. Ferguson finally revealed his reason for retirement, and we were to discover that this was to pay more attention to his wife of 47 years. What a man indeed.
From the Sidelines, your one in all show gallantly introduces exciting and mouth-watering futures to you. Week Speak, a discussion between you and us on spectacular health events that occurred in the previous week. We broadcast your tweets, messages, and comments from our timeline, and afterwards, our in-house expert analyzes these health events. Sideline Newsreel, our very informative news desk that serves you hot from world football, latest injury and recovery updates, drug bans, drug uses and abuses, player and coach retirements, as well as any other relevant health news. Sideline Personality, where we take a few looks at football legends through history who gave up their careers to long injuries and sometimes death. Take it home, our question and answer segment where you stand chances of winning super fabulous prizes. Put it on your timetable, put it on your menu, put it on your routine. Make it a date with From the Sidelines. Today,
your favorite show From the Sideline is now available in print through a sister product named Sideline Vista. Sideline Vista is a monthly magazine that serves you in greater detail sideline happenings from world football, as well as giving you all the platform to air your views and slug it out with each other on top sideline topics in football. You also stand great chances of winning great and beautiful items through our favorite aspect, the Q&A segment. For a token of just 600 Naira, you can enjoy all these and much more. For more information and details, visit www.thesidelinerail.com.
Sideline Newsreel.
In international football, Italian coach Cesar Prandelli is considering making drastic changes to his side in a bid to boost his chances of victory on Wednesday against Japan in the group stage of the ongoing Confederations Cup in Brazil. He bemoans losing a number of key players to injuries whilst training, but is still unsure as to how many changes exactly he'll be making to his squad. Ethiopian coach Sionet Bishaw has professed that winning South Africa 2-1 in the third round of the 2014 World Cup qualifiers in Addis Ababa on Sunday was a huge miracle. This result sees the Bafana Bafana crash out shamefully and losing a place in the much anticipated World Cup of next year in Brazil. He adds, a draw would not have been enough and we needed a win at home to be sure of progressing. It is true, South Africa gave us a goal, but maybe God decided to give us. The British FA are pleased to announce the FA Cup final match fixture for 2014 as the last match of the season, allowing it to take centre stage 1 week after the Premiership ends. The FA, through its secretary, Alex Holm, alludes to the fact that pressure was received from fans and the media to make the final fall on a separate day distinct from Premiership match days. The new English Premiership season begins on August 17th and will see Manchester United travel to Swansea, Chelsea host Hull City in Stamford Bridge, and Manchester City host Newcastle United. Chelsea striker Fernando Torres has declared that he will give Spanish coach Vicente del Bosque a torrid time in squad selection as he hopes to make a start against Tahiti today in the ongoing Confederations Cup in Brazil. Torres has been something of a spectator for his national teams, Spain, sitting out most competitive matches on the bench and coming on in only a few matches. Ghanaian striker Kevin Prince Boateng has confirmed that he'll be returning officially to the Ghanaian national team squad. Ghanaian FA President Kwesi Iantaki told the media last week Friday that the forward made contact to return from his declared retirement from international football in 2011 to star for the team's games in June this year. This has since generated widespread fascination and excitement in the Ghanaian media. Danhod FC of Ghana have their supporters still aggrieved and sitting after raining curses on referee Mohamed Awai in response to a controversial call he made against the team that made them concede a match-deciding penalty. The assistant coach of the side, Evans Age Ago, blurted out to the media saying, "I do not believe this man, the referee, will get home safely, and I will be surprised if he can do so." The referee's decision cost Danhod FC $75,000. On the local scene, the Nigerian Professional Football League game between Dolphin and Bayelsa on Saturday was abandoned in the 81st minute due to the compromised state of the pitch under the weather. The pitch became waterlogged as rain poured on continuously. After much deliberation, however, officials have decided to have the game replayed at the same venue on Sunday by 4 p.m.
Sideline personality.
Today we take a quick peek at Cameroonian great Marc Vivien Foe. Born 1st of May 1975 in Yaoundé, Cameroon's capital, Marc began his football career as a junior with Union Garoua, the second division side, before moving to top-tier side Canon Yaoundé, with whom he won the Cameroon Cup in 1993. He made his first appearance in Cameroon's shirt against that same year. His performance earned him a place in the selected squad for the USA 94 World Cup, where he started all three of Cameroon's group stage games. Cameroon, on the one hand, put up a very shameful performance in these tournaments. Moving on, he turned down an offer from French club Auxerre to join RC Lens, with whom he spent 5 seasons that culminated in a 1998 league title. Enjoying transfer offers from big European teams like Manchester United, Marc missed out on the 1998 World Cup due to a broken leg. Upon recovery, he headed to England, joining West Ham United for a record fee of £4.2 million in 1999. A year later, Marc departed to join French side Lyon for £6 million, but was unable to report immediately for top-flight action due to a battle with malaria. Upon return to full health, he enjoyed honours with Lyon, bagging the French League title and the French League Cup with them. The following year, he travelled with the Cameroon national team for the 2002 World Cup, where he starred in all of their matches. Cameroon, on the other hand, put up a more decent performance than they did in 1994, but were unfortunately ushered out early in the competition. The following year, Marc headed to England again, joining Manchester City for £550,000. Here he featured regularly in first team matches, starting 38 out of 41 games, bagging a total of 9 goals. In a quick turn of fortune, unknown to many, Foe departed with Cameroon for the 2003 Confederations Cup, where he featured prominently in vital tournament games. On the 6th of June, unfortunately, Foe was pronounced dead an hour after he collapsed in the midfield during match time against Colombia in the tournament's semi-finals. The cause of death was revealed to be an enlarged heart with dysfunctional cardiac muscles, an inherited condition capable of causing collapse during exercises. His death brought much shock to the world of football. Foe was given a state burial in Cameroon days later. Memorials and oaths were awarded in honor of the slain footballer, as clubs where he had previously served retired jersey numbers he had worn in his time there, RC Lens being the most notable. Today, Marc-Vivien Foe is most fondly remembered amongst countrymen and ex-internationals for his joyous personality and infectious sense of humor. His son, at age 14 in 2009, gave a brief speech in memory of his father as a ceremonial rite in the opening ceremony of the 2009 Confederations Cup. He still lives in the hearts and minds of football faithfuls even till this day.
Take it home.
I'll take you home segment this week. This week we have 3 units of Samsung S4 Galaxy tabs up for grabs. These are the questions you need to answer to win them. Question 1. Our sideline personality this week is A. Marc-Vivien Foe, B. Kanu Nwankwo, C. Antonio Puerta, D. Pele. I'll say that again. Our sideline personality this week: A. Marc-Vivien Foe, B. Kanu Nwankwo, C. Antonio Puerta, D. Pele. Question 2. Who featured as our week speak for this episode? A. Robbie Fowler, B. Sir Alex Ferguson, C. Lionel Messi, D. Arsene Wenger. I'll say that again. Question 2. Who featured as our week speak for this episode? A. Robbie Fowler, B. Sir Alex Ferguson, C. Lionel Messi, D. Arsene Wenger. Question 3. Why was he our pick? A. Because of his retirement, B. because of his temper, C. because of his family, D. because of his money. I'll take that again. Question 3. Why was he our week speak? A. because of his retirement, B. because of his temper, C. because of his family, D. because of his money. Question 4. How many tweets do we read during the week speak segment? A. 5, B. 7, C. 11, D. 10. I'll take that again. Question 4 and the final question. How many tweets do we read during the week speak segment? A. 5, B. 7, C. 11, D. 10. Please send your correct answers to contact@thesidelinerail.com. Sideline Rail, the Sideline Rail is spelled as THESIDLINEREEL.com. Contact@thesidelinerail.com or any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it is From the Sidelines Radio. On Twitter, it is at FRM The Sidelines or FRM The Sidelines with the hashtag. Remember to send your full name, your contact details, and location in all of your entries to us. I hope you've had a very beautiful time, because I did, and it was so much fun having to have you listen to the show throughout. To reward your experience, I'll urge you to stay glued to this station same time next week for another round of mind-boggling action from the sidelines in the game of football. I'm stoked you just had your #1 radio show from the sidelines. Your super duper host is wishing you a very fantastic week ahead. Can't wait to have you back next week. Bliss.